Yo, 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 yo. What is up? What is up? What is up? I hope everyone's doing good. I completely um forgot I had to stream tonight. I was not thinking. I woke up this morning and then I didn't really feel too great and I took a nap. Like, I don't know if it was a nap, a power nap, or it was just like one of those things where I just napped for like another 6 hours today. And I woke up at like 9 o'clock. I went out and got some food, and I was like, "Holy shit! I was supposed to stream tonight. Totally forgot." So I got a little sidetracked, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'll start at 10:30. It's what I started on Friday. That's when I started the stream. So I didn't really make a big deal about it. But I want to say what's going on to everybody in the chat. I know we're feeling pretty good right now, 5-0. I mean, I feel great. I thought this team really, played a lot better in the second half against the Rams. We shut down the Rams in the second half. The Eagles are the only team in the NFC East that won this weekend for the second time this season. And definitely a lot to go over when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and their offense, the defense. I feel like they have kind of settled at the nickel spot now with Bradley Roby now kind of in the whole thing now, which is great. I feel like, the red zone definitely needs some work, no doubt. You had back-to-back sacks with Hassan Reddick. Jalen Carter had 2 sacks, and a forced fumble, had a fantastic game. Defense really rose up. I thought they played a little bit more press. They got a little closer. They didn't play as far back like they did in the first half. So I think Desai actually made some really good I thought he made some really good adjustments in this game. I thought Hurts, some of his throws were great. I know he had some bad ones where he missed a few guys that were wide open. He missed Quez twice and one in the end zone. I know they force-fed the ball a little bit, which I kind of did a video on that, this morning on force-feeding these wide receivers when they don't have the statistics. I think that's been one of the problems. A.J. Brown being dominant and dominant and dominant. So that's the way it goes, What's going on, Chris? What's going on, man? Go Eagles 990. What's up, Joey? YXNGBT says, what up, brother? What's going on, man? Tyler says, Hassan Reddick getting back-to-back was... Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it. I don't think we really expected him get the back-to-back sacks at all, but that was a cool moment. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was a pretty cool moment. 3 sacks for the year. Like, Hassan Reddick is weird. This is the second game without his cast on, so he had 1 sack without his cast on last week, and got two in a row. Back-to-back, which is great. Alan also says, hey, what's good, Joey? 5-0. We definitely need to work on red zone plays and stop feeding wide receivers, but what a hell of a win. Jalen's best game so far this season. Bring on the Jets. Yeah, it was his best game. The red zone is weird because I feel like, we can get the ball downfield. I feel like sometimes the Eagles get a little too pass happy at times, but Jalen Hurts just loves to sling the football. Jalen Hurts, not only, besides the red zone, Hurts had some great throws. Hurts on some of these third downs with his legs. I mean, the one I thought he got hurt from when he got kind of sandwiched on that one play where I thought it was his knee or it was his ankle. That really made me nervous on that play. But I thought he played really good. I mean, we get to red zone, like the things they do way too much. They pass way too much in the red zone. Way too much. Okay, the quarterback design runs that need to stop because they just do it so much, and I think teams are ready for it. They got to get the run game going. They got to do some outside runs or get something going because I think the run game would actually help entirely. We look like we don't know how to play football once we get down there. I mean, that's what it looks like. Like once we get the red zone, then like we start panicking. The Eagles should have been up by another 2 touchdowns in the field goal. So really, at the end of the day, the Eagles should have had like 40 points on the Rams. We know this team is what, 5th, 6th in scoring. I don't know, from going to the Rams game, this team was 5th in scoring. Okay, 5th in points. They're not playing the best football, but they're fighting every single week. They're making things a lot harder on themselves at times. We had some face mask penalties. We had some things going on, so I get it. Mark said, what up, Joey? What's going on, dude? Here we go. Says, where is Penny, a.k.a. Steele of the running back? Yeah, he was out with, even though he hasn't gotten any snaps, he was out with a He was out with an illness, apparently. So, I don't know. Co-LLC, what's going on, dude? Raj says, we need a corner and safety after I'm ready for war. I don't know if we need corners so bad. Like, I think they need to get a depth guy, or I don't know. I think Roby will. I think they got real comfortable with Roby. They started rotating nickels in the first half. Like, it was Eli Ricks, Mario Goodrich. I'm like, nah, we cannot rotate nickel cornerbacks. And I felt like with Bradley Roby, they felt more comfortable in the second half with him. He actually made some plays. He blitzed once. He made some plays. He had some good coverage. So I think they're just going to work with him this week. We need to settle down at that position. I think Roby is perfect for the job, and let's see what he does the next couple weeks. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to getting a hybrid type player that could play safety, or that could play nickel or something like that can move around the field a little bit. For certain situations and certain packages, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Even if they don't get a high price name, or a high tier name that they could find for a trade. If they get someone that's a mid tier name that has played pretty solid this season and could play multiple positions, I'd be happy with that. I think on top of Jeremy Chin or something like that. I know we talked about Budda Baker, which I don't think that's going to happen because of his contract and because of his cap number for the year. We have to look at the Denver Broncos too, because it looks like they're just, I think from what I heard on the news, okay, I've heard that every player on that Broncos defense is literally up for sale. Literally up for sale. I think they're taking a crap ton of calls. I think, Justin Simmons, like there's some guys out there that you could go get from that defense. So, we'll see what happens though, but who just says Phillies lost a bullet? Yeah, well, they split, dude. The Phillies split. So I would, I think they're going to take it home. I'm not really worried about it too much. I feel Ricks can cross-train. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of them can. Like, the problem is that they kept 7 cornerbacks this year, and I don't think they trained too much of them. I think Bradbury was the only, going into the season, I think Bradbury was the only corner that cross-trained into the nickel spot. I don't think anybody else did. Nobody. I don't think anybody else did. Sidney Brown would definitely be a player I would look to cross-train. I know they were cross-training him this past week before they ruled him out with the hamstring injury. I think Sidney Brown is the perfect player to cross-train, and they should, get it going. They need to get, not having Chauncey this year really hurt us, because, you can't move any players around. It's like, I don't want to be that team where you lose a player. And just like you lose Cam Jurgens and you have Sua Opeta in, and look what he does. He plays fantastic. You don't miss a heartbeat with Sua Opeta at both guard spots. So you have that swing guy that can play both positions, which is good. JC, I feel Roby's trying out right now. If he isn't good, they won't move. Yeah, we'll. Well, they're not going to move him at the deadline. They're not going to trade him, but he's not making. What is he making with the Eagles? He's not making much. It's not going to be much money coming back to us or anything like that. So, I think he played pretty good in that second half. I feel like the defense really settled down with him playing at the nickel spot. So, Maddie says a player that I would be intrigued to trade for would be Jeremy Chin, but I highly doubt the Carolina. Well, don't doubt, because Carolina's going to need some draft capital, and they're winless still. I think they're 0. What are they, 0-5? I don't even know if they won this week. So you have to take advantage, make phone calls to that team, and see if they were able to move anybody, and just see what happens. You know what I mean? E-Money says, "Go Birds." What's going on, E-Money? That Dolphins game next Sunday will be tough. You know what? A lot of people are saying it'll be tough, but to be honest with you, dude, this is such a week-to-week league. Miami beats on the Broncos 70 points. The Bills literally kill Miami. The Giants, to be honest with you, I thought the Giants did a pretty good job running the ball on Miami, and I don't think Miami has the biggest trenches that we all expect them to have. I think Miami has big playability, but they have big playability, but I think when it comes to the trenches, they're not as good as us in the trenches. They're not. I don't think Miami, just by watching them the past 4 or 5 weeks, especially this last week, I don't think in the trenches they're as good as they are. I think they're good in the trenches, but I don't think they're the best. I think the Eagles are better when it comes to the trenches. So the big playability does help. that they have Tyreek Hill and stuff like that. But that's going to be a game where they're going to have to play off the ball when it comes to not everybody, but, Tyreek Hill. They have to see where he's at 100% of the time. Jalen Waddle is a good player. That Cade or whatever, that running back, I think is really good, fast, and no one could. They're not going to run on this team. They're not running on this team. I think there's a good shot that the Eagles could win on Sunday night against the Dolphins. I really do. The Giants, I thought, played really good zone against them. I know and Tua threw a couple picks. We threw a pick, 2 picks. I don't even know. There were some passes that were very questioning. I don't think Tua played his best game against the Giants. I think they took the Giants lightly. I know they still scored like 30 points, but it was a close game for a little while. And, the Giants tried to keep it competitive, but the Giants only got points because of Miami's mistakes. I mean, they didn't really get too many points on their own, besides the pick six that they had, like the 102-yard pick six or whatever it was. I think Miami's definitely beatable. I really do. I think the Eagles have to win in the trenches to actually beat Miami. That's what I've noticed the past couple weeks. Filmmaker says, Jeremy is more box safety and struggles in coverage. No, maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. No, I mean, I think right now he's played left corner as of right now. I think with Carolina. I don't think so. I think he could play both. I think he's fine, to be honest. Like I said, he could play both positions. If they're able to get that trade done for Jeremy Chin, he could definitely play multiple positions. He can get both of those spots done. So I think in the box he's fine. I don't think there's an issue. No. I think what's making him look bad is just that defense. I think altogether that defense just doesn't look up to par. Doesn't look great at all. But we got Sydney Family. What's going on with the Super Chat? Thank you so much, man. Says, when's the trade cutoff date? Another secondary player would be nice. Yeah, so the trade cutoff date is week 9. So before week 9, pretty much when we face the Cowboys, will be when we have to make a move. And I'd be shocked if they don't make a move. I think they will at some point. I can't. If Howie Roseman believes that this is a Super Bowl contending roster, I feel like he will make a move. I think that makes the difference, but I think they touch on it. I don't think they sit back and let this thing kind of roll by them. Torville said, I think the coaches have difficulty with talent evaluation. Swift has the best running back, but he is on third on depth chart a week before the season. Brown should start. Ricks is better than Goodrich. Yeah, I'm not liking. I mean, Ricks kind of struggled a little bit too, but he was playing. I don't think Ricks was playing man to man when we got on defense for the first time, and when Ricks subbed in, I don't think they were playing man to man. Obviously, they were playing a lot of off ball stuff, so everything was open up the middle. Goodrich has an issue on bigger receivers, or just I don't know. I think he's had a big issue, and he hasn't played in a couple weeks. You know what I mean? I don't think Goodrich has really played since the Vikings game. I think it's been a while since he's played. So I don't know if Ricks is better. I mean, it's only one game, and he only played a certain amount of snaps. I know they had him on the outside later on in the second half. I don't know why. I think just because, I don't know, maybe just giving him a shot, I guess. I don't know. But we'll see. Using Kenneth Gainwell on third down has been a problem. When we get to red zone, they stop using Swift. They want to keep him healthy. I totally get that, but using Gainwell in the red zone, I think, is a big no-no. I think it's a big mistake. And for certain third downs, like really important third downs we need to get, they take Swift out and put Gainwell in. I still don't get why they're doing that. It makes no sense to me why they're doing that. We'll see what happens. Raji says the Dolphins overrated only team that we appreciate. Dolphins overrated only team that we need to prepare in San Fran flat out. Yeah, I mean, I think San Fran is the team we really got to prepare for. I'm not saying you can't prepare for anybody else, but I think Miami went 7-0 last year and they fell apart. You know what I mean? Like, who knows how long that shit's gonna last? They're great. I mean, they're good. They could pass, they could run, they could do everything. But I think when it comes to the trenches, I think they're good in the trenches. I just don't think they're the best. I don't think they faced the best team in the trenches. The Eagles win that Dolphins game on Sunday night in Philadelphia if they play in the, if the trenches have got to play lights out. I think this defensive line has got to get after it. But we have won the games up to date right now. We have won the games that we were supposed to win. Okay, that we had to stack these wins. These because just like Washington losing to Chicago, that's gonna bite them later on. That they should have won that game. The Eagles can't take any teams lightly, and I don't think they are because they're fighting every single game. You know what I mean? Mr. Rupu says Surtain would be too expensive in draft capital. Yeah, I think Justice Simmons would be a nice trade package there. I don't know. I mean, Surtain it's already enough. Like we don't know how to use the cornerbacks we have now. Okay, like I feel like I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of mixed things on Slay and Bradbury right now, and I understand like they played man on that one play and they both got burned. Slay got burned by Cooper Kupp really badly on the left sideline, left side of the field, and Bradbury got torched by Puka Nakua, whatever his name is, for that touchdown. Some people are saying, man, these corners look really old. They look like they can't keep up with these young talents. And I could somewhat believe that. I mean, maybe that's why, maybe that's why they're playing off the ball with those two. Maybe maybe Desai has no trust in, those guys on man coverage. And look, I don't mind playing, pressing a little bit is not a big deal. Like, I don't mind them being 5 yards off from them, but being 10 yards off every play is definitely, is a little alarming at times, So I get it. I totally get it. I just think Kenny is on the third mostly for pass pro. I mean, yeah, but they've ran him on third down as well. So, in past games, covers our only chance against Miami speed to blitz Tua from the start and hit him. He will allow him if we allow him time. The receivers and running backs have too much speed. Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be one where we have to get pressure. We have blitz with our linebackers. They have to literally contain Tyreek Hill because all it takes is some open space and he's gone. So that second half of the schedule, it's a tough one for the Eagles. It really is. I think this schedule has been perfect. Obviously, it's not like it's been easy because it hasn't. We have faced some really good defensive coordinators this year between Bill Belichick and Brian Flores and Todd Bowles. Like the Eagles, they threw everything at us. Like that's what we have to really take out of it. This offense hasn't played up to par with a new coordinator this year. That's for a fact. We'll see. Sidney says, remember, it took a while for Johnson to see what we could see with Swift. I know. It's crazy, man. Swift has got to get. I mean, if we didn't have these other running backs and we just had Swift and maybe one other guy, I mean, Swift could take 20 plus carries a game. You want to keep him healthy, though. I think that's what's really important. So I understand why the Eagles don't play him the whole entire game. I don't want to play Swift the whole entire game, but for certain plays, on third down for some tough yards, or you have to use him in red zone. They take Swift out of red zone, and I don't know why. Swift should be like one of the most valuable players when it comes to red zone because of his speed, his vision, his patience, and that quick explosiveness that he has when he finds that opening. And upon the physicality, I think he plays really well. Like he gets extra yards because of it. One-on-one in open space, Swift is almost a mismatch at this point. Using Swift as a wide receiver, I have definitely liked on a lot of plays. I think every game we're almost using him now. The past few weeks, it was kind of getting there a little bit. Brian Johnson has slowly worked himself to get Swift involved, which I think is great. So can't complain about that. I'm scared of the amount of pre-snap motion would be spammed by Mike. Yeah, that's the thing that I'm afraid of too when it comes to the Dolphins is not just their high-powered offense and them getting those big plays, but those pre-snap motions, misdirection. Like they like to confuse the defense, and the Eagles are gonna have a lot of tape on it. The Eagles are gonna have a lot of tape on it, and they just have to defend it. I hope it's gonna be a big test for our linebackers. It's gonna be a big test for the defensive line. There's going to be probably some containment on the outside, most likely, when it comes to that. So, we'll see. Right. So all that matters is how he is, Oh, hold on. I didn't read the super chat. Sorry. Goopo to Wolfman. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sorry. I woke up at 9 and I've been like out of it ever since, so I apologize. Simmons or Chinwood is more realistic trade. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the question is more realistic. It's just, what do you have to when do you have to give up? I don't know what the Panthers would want for Chin. I think Simmons maybe has more value. I don't know. Simmons might have more value than Chin does, but we'll see. It's just, I don't think the Eagles are going to get they're going to get screwed in a trade and they give up way too much for a player because Howie's smarter than that, Sorry, my allergies. Kind of nuts. I think Chin would be a better trade for us because he could play multiple positions. And I think that's what we need. On top of, cross-train Sidney Brown. Cross-train, they should cross-train a lot of cornerbacks playing nickel this year. I don't care if you're never get to play. Never get to play the position. I think they still got to cross-train a lot of guys. You know what I mean? So, appreciate the super chat, by the way, Goopy. Rice, I would some young blood in our secondary. Chin would be awesome. True. Coach, I just don't get how the coaches couldn't see Swift as the most gifted running back in camp. Seems like it was more politics at this point. I don't know. Like, I don't get why Gainwell is chosen over him in a lot of, some of the third down plays that are important and red zone. It's really the only gripes I have about Swift not being in is really those. So, Coel says, like the damn. Yeah, definitely like the stream if you guys haven't. Thank you so much. Andrew says, y'all talking about the Dolphins. What about the Jets? Oh, no, the Jets, the Jets have a good defense, the Jets get after it on defense, so that's something not to go past. I know that one of their guard/tackle that plays both positions for the Jets for the last few weeks, he's out for the rest of the season. I know they lost their guard/tackle, so they're going to have to move a couple positions on the offensive line. If Zach Wilson has a good game against us, I don't know what to say. Zach Wilson is probably, other than Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson is probably the worst quarterback that we're facing on our schedule this year. And there is no excuse for it. No excuse. There really isn't. I try to sit back and I don't take any of these games, saying, where this is easy. No game has been easy. I say we should do this or we should do that, and sometimes that doesn't happen. But it's gonna be a tough matchup. I think the Eagles definitely have the better roster. I mean, if I don't see Zach Wilson's got to get sacked 5 or more times in this game. I mean, I don't see him standing upright the whole entire game. I think some turnovers are coming our way. That's what I'm hoping. But is it going to happen? I'm not really sure. So let's not look entirely. No, I'm not. I mean, somebody asked about the Dolphins, and I answered it. That's it. I wasn't even going to talk about the Dolphins. Someone asked a question, and that's it. That's a Brown. Whoever we ain't even hitting on all cylinders yet. Don't want to see us full. Yeah, I get it. You don't want to see us at full strength right now. Peak too early, and then how long are you going to be able to keep that up? You know what I mean? So I think like by Miami to after that, they really have to start, really showing a lot more offensively. The substitutions have to be better on certain plays. Red zone has to be better. And the defense needs to press a little bit more at times. They can't leave things too open. So I get it. But offense has got to score more points. We had 3 drives in that Rams game that only equaled to 6 points. I mean, that's it. 3 drives, 6 points, not good enough. Eagles should have had close to 4. Eagles should have had 40 points in this game against the Rams. No doubt. No doubt. Ryan says, I'm worried about the Jets defense. We scored 17 points. We should be good. I think they get after it, but, I think we have too much. I mean, the Jets can have a good defense going in, but I think we have way too much they have to defend. I do. So we'll see. Toby says, the Jets O-line is bad. Our DL should feast. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Bum said, we should let Ringo get reps at safety. No way he's worse than Edmonds. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind trying to cross-train him at all. Make him more of a contact safety, you know what I mean? Like, I have no issue with that. Chris says back in 21, Wilson scored touchdowns the first 2 drives against us and then fell on his face. He pretty much I mean that was a different time, obviously, so I can't compare it to that year. Like, this year is this year. Their defense is way different than it was that year too, so I can't put too much on it. So the key to beating the Jets, keep Breece Hall in check and don't turn the ball. Yeah, I think Breece Hall's having a great year. Okay, they're getting, but at the end of the day, like, no teams could run on us. Like, I at this point, like, nobody. You're gonna have Fletcher Cox back. Hopefully Marlon is back, but the main thing is you're getting Fletcher Cox back to his defensive line, which was definitely missed last game, but I thought we were fine without him. You know what I mean? I think we were fine. Andrew said, what making me nervous is our red zone efficiency and back end. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I totally agree. These corners are definitely struggling against younger talent, and the red zone offense has got to, when it comes to substitutions, like I said, with getting Swift in there, which they never have him in there, so we'll see. How says Hassan Reddick should have 3 or 4 sacks against the Jets. Yeah, we'll see, man. Hassan's about to go on a tear. Yeah, I feel like he is. I feel like he's starting to rise up now. He had a sack last game, had 2 sacks against the Rams back to back, which was good. So I feel like, this is the second week with his cast off. So he's starting to get more comfortable with himself now. And we've talked about Hassan Reddick a million times when it comes to him being very streaky. When it comes to his statistics during the year, sometimes he is. I thought there were some games where he got held pretty badly at times, Thanks that people talking about the Eagles struggling don't talk about the Super Bowl champs struggling. Yeah. I mean, look, a lot of, I think every team is struggling this year. I don't think there's been one team besides maybe Miami has looked the most perfect at times, but I think they peaked way too early. I think Miami's peaked way too early, and how long that's going to, that's going to go down the road. The Bills, they'd already lost Tre'Davious White last week to an Achilles injury. They just lost Milano, their star linebacker, when they played in London the other morning, the other day. They're struggling a little bit when it comes to the injuries and stuff like that. And this is what happens. It's, like I said, it's a week to week league. Things do change over time. You know what I mean? That's what says Howie needs to trade for a safety. I feel like this team is about to go peak for the tough little road ahead. That's what I'm hoping. That's when you want to peak, is when you face those harder teams. So. These corners old and not hungry. I wouldn't go that far and say they're not hungry. Whatever they can only control so much. Like, whatever, if they're playing zone, they're playing man. Like, there's only so much they could do, and maybe there is somewhat of a drop off. Maybe Desai really doesn't trust both of those corners. I have no idea. Thanks says, got a feeling the defense. Yeah, I think they're getting more pressure. I think the adjustments have been better. That Rams in the second half, they shut down the Rams in the second half. But our offense, gotta do more. You know what I mean? So, your defense is doing good. So, defense is I thought played well in the second half. So, Chris says, should Nick take over red zone play calling? I don't know. I mean, Kelsey was furious, so maybe that is going to help. I know Kelsey was pretty pissed off over the red zone, because as an offensive lineman, like, every time you get to the red zone, you just can't get anything in the end zone. It probably is the most frustrating thing. And that's probably why he was so animated, in this game, Turtle says, not the power rankings matter, but I could believe some of the power rankings that I have seen that put the Eagles at 4 or 5. The Eagles are 5-0 and have arguably been the best lines in the NFL. Yeah, I think the Eagles are the best, and I think the Eagles have the best defensive line. I think the Eagles have the best 2 defensive lines. I think both of these defensive lines can start for rosters right now together. You know what I mean? Your offensive line is the best in football. The Eagles have to win through the trenches, and that's where they have to win. That the trenches is what really helps open everything up. And I think that's what's really important. Thanks. I don't agree with that. There's just sometimes I mean, I don't really believe in certain things with these cornerbacks. Like, I don't believe they're not hungry, or I think they're just going to get beat at times. They're human beings. They're not shutdowns. There's no such thing as a shutdown corner. Okay, there's no such thing. You're not finding corners that are that consistent. You know what I mean? You got to face Sauce Gardner this week. You know what I mean? So he'll most likely be on A.J. Brown, so it should be a good matchup. I think Devonta Smith will be Devonta Smith's big game this year. Dallas Goedert is already involved, which is great. You know, so I think Dallas can have a big game as well. I don't think the linebackers are fast enough. But yeah. I'm not too on board with, you know, that the corners don't want it or they're not, you know, I think it's just they're just going to get beat sometimes. That's just, you know, then the defense sometimes when passes, sometimes when, you know, if Stafford holds the ball for a long time, defense is still not there. It's on the defensive line as well, not getting that pressure. So Quez is the new Kevon Wallace. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I know people hate Quez right now. I mean, he did this on the bubble screen that's stupid going around the pile with 2 blockers in front. I mean, Jalen Hurts missed Quez on a touchdown and pretty much a first down on 3rd down that could have got us points. Could have got more points on both of those, you know, if Quez was targeted both those times. So, Robert says, Penny or Scott should be towing the rock in the red zone. If not, that at least play action. One of our many tight ends I would have are too physical of the offense to be stale. The red zone. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Radish says Quez is what Bum Simmons was in the Sixers. Oh my god. Yeah, he hesitates way too much, right? It's like hesitation. Tax 430 says Jalen Carter has been playing great. Oh, gee, I can't even. I agree with Dan Silio the other day when he said, like, we haven't had a player like this in 40 years, and I could probably agree since Reggie White. I could totally agree. He might not have the Reggie White numbers, you know, I mean, Reggie White played a different, you know, position obviously, but he might not have the numbers, you know, the sack numbers, but damn, I mean, over 20 pressures from Jalen Carter. Over 20 pressures, dude. I mean, that's helping out statistically for the rest of your players on your defensive line. That's making a play. Watch the first. I don't know if it was the first or the second sack. Watch the first or second sack from. Jalen Carter took Matt Stafford's soul out of his body on that sack. I know it was kind of a face mask call or whatever it is. I think they totally. They got him scared. Honestly, I really do. And remember that one of Hassan Reddick's sack. Watch the Hassan Reddick sack. What Jalen Carter did to those 2 offensive linemen he went through. He literally knocked them both down on that play. It's just this is a generational play. You're not just getting a good DT in the draft and he's playing okay and he's got like 8-9 sacks for the. This guy is a disruptive fucking monster. It's just I haven't seen this. Like, I mean, I wasn't alive during those days, you know, a long time ago with Reggie White, but for what he has looked like, I mean, does he look like Fletcher Cox in his early days? I think, yeah, he looks like Fletcher Cox in his early days, but I think 5 times better than what Fletcher Cox looked like in his prime, you know. I mean, just crazy. Just nuts, dude. I can't even say much about. I mean, it's overwhelming how much like Jalen Carter is the best player in the draft. I mean, the best player in the draft. I don't think Will Anderson is putting up the numbers that statistics that Carter's putting up right now. I think I don't even know how many. I don't even think he has many tackles for the year, but we'll see. Got Green Blaze Fly Eagle. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says if the tight ends aren't fast enough, go with Albert O. I mean, I think we're fine. I have no issue with tight ends. It's just they never got Dallas Goedert involved. They just never got him involved. Never. They haven't got him involved at all. And it's just alarming. That's all. I don't think there's anything wrong with the tight ends. I just think Brian Johnson just hasn't got them involved. I think we're slowly starting to get to that point now where Dallas Goedert had more chances. If this is his best game, he had what? I don't know how many yards Dallas Goedert had. Did he have over 100 yards in this game? I forgot. I thought he had like 88 yards at some point. Maybe he had more than that. But he had a great game. You know, I don't think that has nothing to do with speed or anything like that. I thought he played great. Appreciate Super Chat, by the way. Dank says he's gonna be at least 8 if he gets 10 sacks. That's in Aaron Donald territory. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Donald his rookie year had 9.5 sacks. I think his rookie year. You know, like I feel like we are waiting for that game where Carter's gonna have like 4 or 5 sacks. I think it's gonna happen. Sooner or later, something's gonna happen. I think Carter's gonna end up getting like 4 sacks in one game. I think we're getting close to that. You know, but at the end of the day, like he's helping the rest of this defense. When he gets a pressure, when he makes the quarterback move, when he makes the running back go in a different, you know, it's gonna help another player out on this defense and make them look a lot better. So, you know what I mean? Thanks. As Jerome was from Brooksville and Carter is from Apopka, Florida. Interesting. Yeah, 117 yards. Yeah, it's a great day. That's the best game of I mean, that's by a landslide. That's the best of his that's the best this year, you know, so far for Dallas Goedert. I mean, I think later in the second half they took Goedert out. They started using, you know, they started using not Calcaterra. I think they started using oh my god, why am I forgetting his name? Holy. All right, whatever. They started using some of the backup tight ends. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart here. Did you see Droji says, "Do you see all the Eagles fans at the game?" Yeah, dude, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It's a home game. I already knew that was going to be a home game this year. I mean, just from going, they don't have any fans over in LA. There's no fans over there, you know. Bum says, did anyone else notice more 2 tight end personnel? Yeah, I saw in the second half. I think they looked. I don't know if they. Yeah, Jack Stahl. Sorry, thank you, Chris. Yeah, Jack Stahl. I just forgot his name. I don't know if they did double tight end sets. I kind of looked when I saw Jack Stahl on the field. I don't know if I saw. I don't know if I saw Goddard on the field at the same time. So I'm not sure if they did. I got to rewatch the game again. Wombat says, yo, go Birds, top of the division. How about them Cowboys? Dude, like, I got to say something about that. I'll have a video on it, too, because I feel like I got a lot to say about it, and it's just like now they could shut the fuck up now. There's only so many games where your Dak can do the bare minimum, and I feel like that's what's been. Like, the defense has been carrying that team against bad talent, and once they have faced a really good talent, you can't get away with throwing 154, 156 yards in a game. Like, you can't throw under 200 yards and do the bare minimum and expect to win games. Like, you could tell that Jalen Hurts has put the team on his back, especially in that Rams game. He put the team on his back. Those crucial third downs, Jalen Hurts ran with his feet and did a really good job. I think the Cowboys really got exposed. I think their defense is not up to par. They're all their draft picks suck. I mean, what are their draft picks have done this year? Mozzie Smith has 1 tackle this year. Shoemaker hasn't done much of anything, and that running back they drafted, which pretty much was their, you know, Deuce Vaughn was their best pick in my opinion, and I don't think it's not going to help them out in red zone. They're another team that has a problem in red zone. But once Dak, you know, once the Cowboys are down by a couple scores, I feel like Dak gets in his panic mode. He starts throwing all over the place, and he gets careless with his throwing. And then after he gets that first pick, I think he would have got that. I thought he was going to get a pick like later in the game, but it was very early in the second half. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. You're not going to see some of the guys, you know, in the chats. Like there was I didn't see one Cowboys fan in the Philly. I don't think there was one Cowboys fan in the Philly shakedown. I swear, not even like a fan saying, "Oh, hey, we lost, but it is what it is." Like not even a good Cowboys fan. I didn't see one Cowboys fan in that Philly shakedown the other night at all, like whatsoever. I saw nobody. I didn't see one fucking person the whole entire time. So thanks, is Jack Stahl. Yeah. I forgot. Goobie said Jordan Davis has been playing lights out this year. Those two will hold it down. The Philly. Oh yeah, dude. Like it's great, man. Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis has surprised me more this year. Like, I thought he'd be great against the run this year, but man, the guy has turned up to be a pass rusher on top of it. Crazy. The first time I saw it, I mean, he was playing good the first game, but the first time I saw the like a holy shit moment was the Vikings game where he pushed the guard into the tight end pushing to Kirk Cousins. He grabbed Kirk Cousins, he threw him to the ground. I was like, he single-handedly took 3 guys out, like, by himself. It's crazy, dude. Right, so our wide receivers to start with Hurts and Swift, they footwork going open that field up for our receivers. Oh yeah, 100%, dude. I mean, extending plays is always a great thing. And I felt like I feel like Hurts was less hesitant. I felt like Hurts was definitely less hesitant on, like, you know how everyone has been saying the past couple weeks that Jalen Hurts has looked kind of slow. I feel like he looked like he knew what he was doing, when it came to running with the football. Like, when he ran. He didn't hesitate. I feel like when he hesitates, he's afraid to get hit. The coaches are putting a lot of information in his head that he shouldn't get hit and all that stuff. So we'll see. They're silent for this week anyway. Yeah, they got to go. Oh, imagine if Kellen Moore, like, puts one up on the Cowboys this week. Just imagine that. Johnson, I'm glad Carter played 80% this week. Yeah, I knew that they had to give him more snaps this week. I know Milt Williams was starting next to Jordan, next to Jalen Carter, so I get it. You know what I mean? They had to give some more guys opportunity, but Jalen Carter hasn't really played a lot of snaps. Like, this is the highest graded game percentage-wise, 80%, which he has played most of, his reps. And that's perfectly fine. Like, I don't think Jalen Carter's opposed to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you have the next Aaron Donald on this team right now. I'm not even by really Aaron Donald, but it's pretty fucking close. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, who does Jordan Davis remind you of who does Jordan Davis remind you of? Of like a player could be from years ago, could be from, like, who does Jordan Davis really remind you of? Is he like a Vince Wilfork type player? Do you think he's like Vince Wilfork in his early days in his prime? Like, I want to know what player reminds you of Jordan Davis. Cake says they only like the Lakers and Dodgers. Yeepa says, where's the cow shit haters? I know, dude. They got fucking exposed, bro. I mean, they got destroyed, dismantled. They got. It was close in the beginning. It was like 7-0 for a bit. Turnovers back and forth, and it was 14-7. And then I'm gonna tell you something. The 49ers, like, their linebackers, like, them linebackers, Greenlaw and Fred Warner, god damn, dude, like, holy shit. Those linebackers, friggin', man, I love seeing linebackers like that. I wish our linebackers were more like that. They close on guys, man. I mean, they don't hesitate. They get to the football like crazy. And Brock Purdy with a clean pocket, he threw fantastic. I'm not going to lie. He threw really good. Bo says, imagine Carter will win the defensive and offensive rookie of the year. Hasn't been done since. Really, huh? Seriously? You're saying Lawrence Taylor was the last? Seriously? So we haven't got a rookie of the year on defense since Lawrence Taylor? Is that true? That's insane. Chris says Kellen Moore winning would be justice in a way. For him, it probably would be. Dank says, imagine you get tackled and the last thing you see is a 6'6", 340-pound man falling on you. Oh, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Ratchet Voice says, Dallas still stinks. Lazy Eagles says, people are complaining about Devonta Smith not getting that many targets, but A.J. Brown has cooked the last. Dude, why are people bitching about that? Like, I don't get fans that are just like, there's only so much you could do with the ball, like, in an entire football game. Like, you got to run, you got to throw, I'm glad I'd rather have Dallas Goedert get open every time I'd rather throw to Dallas Goedert that gets open every single time than Devonta Smith just didn't have the matchup this week. Why are people still like? And I feel like that's where the coaches fed him the ball in that end zone when Quez was wide open in the back of the end zone. I feel like that's what they did, but you know what I mean? Like every time, like apparently Devonta Smith was on the sideline. You know, Devonta Smith isn't vocal. He doesn't yell at anybody. He's not animated like everyone thinks. He's definitely not animated or anything like that. But who gives a shit, dude? I think Devonta Smith's gonna have his game this week. AJ Brown's that's why you're paying AJ Brown all this money, dude. Like, this is the reason why you're paying him. Paying him a big contract to do that right now. And he's doing what he's told, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. That's all I care about at the end of the day. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. I know how many people on my stream, in my play-by-play stream on Sunday, people are like, oh, why did they throw Devonta Smith? Oh, my God, Devonta Smith hasn't got a catch yet. Why aren't they throwing it? It's like, dude, like, maybe he doesn't have the matchup. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, this week, I think A.J. Brown's going to have a tough matchup this week with Sauce. Sauce is going to, you know what I mean? So, they're going to have to throw another way. Get the tight ends involved. Get Smitty more involved. It's just different every single, it's definitely different every week. Gooby says, Duda, is Rashad Penny ever going to play this year? I don't know, dude. I honestly don't know. Like, I hope, but guys, the Eagles haven't hit their peak yet. 5-0 salute. Let me fix this stream. I had this on a... Let me change my stream to anybody. All right. I took the... I turned the subscribers only mode off. So... I'll turn that off for now. I feel like there's a lot of people waiting to say something, but we'll never know. Java says, well, Davis is traditionally a nose tackle, so I could see Will Fork. Okay. Carl says, what happened to Dallas? Bum always in chat, a silent. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Why was this? Sorry. There's not a lot of 6'6", 340-pound linemen who run a 4.78. Right, but so I'm definitely excited for what we're going to look like by week 10. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped to see what this final product is going to be of this offense, man. They just gotta fix this. They really just gotta fix this red zone. The substitutions for running backs have really got to get better when it comes to third down and red zone, and put Swift in a lot more at those specific times. But I feel like they really try to rest Swift in the second half. That's what I feel like they do. They give him all the dirty work at the beginning to get points on the board or try to help getting yards. Jalen Carter in 5 weeks as a rookie is already making a case of Hall of Fame. That's just insane, dude. Are they saving Penny? That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I think that's a big thing, too. We don't have a bruiser back, man. We don't have a bigger back, which kind of sucks. And what we do, we obviously have a bigger back in when it comes to red zone, but, you know. Ruby says, Jordan Davis is a mean Joe Green type of player, massive dude that can rush the passer. You know, I don't even think, like, Jordan Davis really reminds me of anybody. I feel like he's really making his own stamp in Philadelphia, you know. Chris says the radio is fomenting a narrative that Smith is unhappy. No. It's not. What's bad is that every time a camera is turned on somebody, or, you know, because somebody doesn't have, you know, somebody only has one catch in a game, it means that they're unhappy. It's not that. Like, it's just the moment of the game. Every team does this on the sideline. They just don't catch it. And when they catch it, they try to make a big deal out of it, like speaking up against your coach or speaking up with some of your teammates is a bad thing, and it's not. I did it in college. I mean, I had fights with a lot of people, but positive fights, not like anything that was kind of crazy. More said Jordan Davis will hopefully be a Haloti Nada. Yeah, Haloti Nada was very... I remember when we picked him up, he didn't really do much of anything because he was old at that point. He retired after he was with us. Bailey, I feel like the 49ers are overhyped. We can beat them this year. You know, they haven't really faced the best talent this year. I don't think they have either. Their schedule has been pretty easy, significantly. So, we got to take care of business this week. You know, like, I'm not going to look too forward ahead. Like, the Jets are, like, The number one thing we have to watch out for. And then we get to wear our Kelly greens. We get to wear the Kelly green uniforms in a couple weeks. So, Toro says our defense tackle depth, the deepest I have seen. About 5 of our DTs could start for other teams. Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think Kadavia Street could start for a team. I think, Fletch, Davis, Carter. I mean, yeah, I mean, you're pretty much right. I mean, yeah, that is true. Dank says, I think it's the media trying to make the team seem like it's starting to crack. Yeah, like, or they're against each other while they're playing in games or some stupid shit like that, which I can't stand. Toros, I said something to the effect that Dak is an interception machine, and that was all it took for Mark's Mods to ban me. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I saw he did like a 14-hour stream or something the whole day? Something like that. Roger says the Jets ain't sweet. Nogformis says, if Howie gets us a safety or another defensive end, it's over. Yeah, I wonder who else is available at defensive end this year. I feel like they got to upgrade the edge. I do. Like Derek Barnett. Nolan Smith has got to fucking play, dude. I complain about this every week. It's another week Nolan Smith isn't playing. Barely playing at all. Saw him on special teams. Barely playing. It worries the shit out of me. Your first-round pick has got to do something this year. I mean, I know Philly said the other night, he said, he'll get his shot. If it's not right now, we're going to feel the presence of Nolan Smith later on this year. And I said, I hope so. Like, I really hope so. You know what I mean? Rosie, Penny and Scott will be playing after the 8th or 9th game being saved. Reggie says their offense trash, but their defense okay. Matt says, I remember the last year, a lot of people were ready to give up on Jordan Davis and calling him bust. And all I know, those people have turned into crickets. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I've said about Jordan Davis is they have to maintain his weight. If he exceeds his weight, he's gonna slow down and he's gonna be a bust. Like that's the only he's got to maintain his weight, maintain his body, and not get lazy. And I feel like he'll be a good player. Did I expect him to be a pass rusher this year? No, I expected him to be a good against the run and command some double teams and open it up for everybody else. But man, we got a lot more than that this year with Jordan Davis than I even expected to get. And yes, he needed a big jump. First-round picks have to have that big jump in their second year, no doubt. They need to have that big jump, no doubt. So, I'm glad he got it. I'm glad he's playing well, Nuggetford says, Penny should be the red zone back. He's stronger and faster than Gainwell. Yeah, well, yeah. Tell these coaches, bro. Thanks. I think we just need to be patient with Nolan Smith. I just feel like Derek Barnett is taking more of the snaps for a specific reason. He's got what are Derek Barnett's stats for the year? I mean, seriously. Everybody has done well besides him, okay? Seriously. I want to check his stats. He's got a solo tackle. That's all he's got. He had no tackles in this game that we just played. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing for this team. He's been nowhere to be found. One solo tackle for the year. That's it. They got to make a move, man. They got to make a move. Mazzy Smith is playing better than him. That's how bad it is. Like, it's bad. It's not good. Mazzy Smith is playing better than Derek Barnett this year. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know how many pressures he has. Let's see. Does it even tell me if he has pressures this year? I don't even know. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. Let me go back. Hold on. Gubby says, you see Jason Kelsey yelling at the sideline of Sirianni and the Cody staff on Sunday after Hurts missed a wide open Quez? Yeah, he's frustrated over the red zone, no doubt. He's totally frustrated. He's totally frustrated. I should just get Barnett gone. Maz says, Maz. I'm calling you Maz, not Matt, because I'm thinking about Matthew Smith. I'm saying Matt says, man, I can't wait till Barnett is gone because that man is just hogging a roster spot and doing nothing. I mean, this guy wanted to get traded, dude, before the season started because he didn't want to be in a rotation. He felt like he needed more of a starting role. I mean, guy's getting playing time this year. He hasn't lived up to a first round. He hasn't lived up to be a first round pick in years. Really, after his rookie year, he hasn't lived up to his potential at all since we drafted him. And I'm surprised he's been around this long. I'm surprised he's been around as long as he has been. Since 2017, he's still here and has done nothing. 17 was his best year. His rookie year was his best year. So this is Derek Darnett is like a scarecrow in a cornfield, although a scarecrow does keep some of the crows away. Fucked up, man. Nagforba says Barnett wants to get traded. Be lucky if we get us. That's what I'm saying. Like, I said this, like, oh, we could just trade him. I'm like, what are we going to get for him? He's got no value. He's got one quarterback hit in 11 games. One. Okay. He's had one quarterback hit in 11 games. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even joking. What's going on, RPF? What's going on, dude? He says, yeah, the Eagles playing Derek Barnett a lot over Nolan Smith is absolutely ridiculous. I don't get it. Christian Vid says, do you think the Eagles have a plan for Penny, or did they just take advantage of Howie again? I think there has to be a plan because, like, literally, like, he's gotten, 4 snaps, maybe? He had a couple snaps in the Tampa game. He had 3 snaps in the Patriots game because DeAndre Swift was tired because he needed a break that game. I don't know. I think they're saving him for the second half of the season. I think they're saving him for when it gets cold out, when it gets, they're keeping him fresh. Guy hasn't played since week 5 of last season with the Seattle Seahawks. It's been a long time. Matt said we just give Barnett what he wanted and trade his ass out of here. Thanks. I also think Kelsey was mad about the players not getting called in on time. Yeah, that might have been it too. I don't know what specific. We don't even know what the reason is. I don't even know specifically what happened. So it's Barnett has no trade value. We could get a sheet of forever stamps for him. Thanks says they had to waste the timeout and get it delayed and not. Yeah, I got it. No, I totally got it. I felt like I was hoping those timeouts weren't going to screw us over. They wasted 2 timeouts on obviously not getting set. That was kind of alarming too. That was a little alarming, So says Barnett qualified yet for NFL pension? Maybe the is trying to do him a favor and have him for the years for that before letting him go. I don't know. Nate says I'm liking the depth that we're I'm liking depth with Roby now. He made a couple of good plays. When Sidney Brown comes back, we actually look pretty deep. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they really started to cross-train Sidney Brown. I really think that Sidney Brown is the player at safety they need to cross-train the cornerback. I fully believe that. From safety to nickel, I think would be perfect for him. I think they have been doing that. They did that last week before they took him out because of the hamstring. I know he's been dealing with the hamstring the past couple weeks, so getting him back will be pretty good. Justin Evans really isn't that bad at safety. I think he's actually pretty solid, to be honest. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been bad, but I think he's been solid. But Roby, I think, really did settle down this defense in the second half, no doubt. I think he definitely settled it down a little bit, and, can't wait for more. You know what I mean? Can't wait for more. Sorry. I don't know why I'm wearing my headphones because nothing's going on. Womit says they might be saving Penny for when it gets colder. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, it's kind of stupid how they just haven't used them at all, at least for red zone or just a play or two on red. I mean, something like that. You know what I mean? It just confuses the shit out of me why they're not using him. But you know, that's how it is. Ron says, "Gone here late, my boy. I'm pissed. I didn't get a notification. Hope you're having a good evening, bro. You think we get a W this week?" Oh, yeah. I think so. Stop Breece Hall. Get pressure on Zach Wilson. Get turnovers, and I think you'll win. I think that's really all you got to do in this game. And it's actually, you know, I'm not trying to make it seem simple, but I think that's all you got to do. Marky610 says, if we trade for another pass rusher, who the hell are we going to sit on? Not Reddick or Sweat. Well, no, you're going to sit Barnett. Barnett's gone. Barnett is the weakest link to our defensive line. Pretty much. If that's what they want to do. If they think like Nolan Smith is not going to get in the playing time, I don't know. I mean, I would like to have more depth at defensive end, no doubt. Like, if Howie Roseman believes that the Eagles are definitely in position to, you know, contend this year, for me, I feel like they're going to go get it. I feel like they're going to go after somebody. I mean, I cannot see it not happening. I think it is 100% happening. I'd be shocked if he doesn't go after anybody. I'd be shocked. Eagles have 10 draft picks next year. They have a lot of draft capital. They have an extra second-round pick next year, too. So I'm not saying they're going to go out and spend a second-round pick on somebody, but if there is like a player that could help them for a few years and they don't have to go into the draft next year and go to grab that player, then there could be, you know, a little interest. So you never know. You never know what could happen. You know what I mean? Well, give it a shot. You know, we'll see, though. Is it going to be a safety, a defensive lineman? I don't think it's going to be linebacker as much as everyone has been talking about it. I think the Eagles, you know, I think this is the week when I think Nakobe Dean comes back. He's designated to come back this week. I think that's what's going on. Lewis says, we will see Penny in that Miami or Dallas game. Hopefully. I wouldn't took Randy Gregory for yeah, I mean that's a good trade. I mean, that was a good trade. I think they gave up a 6 and they had to give I think the team gave up I think the 49ers gave up a 6 and I think they give up a 7. I forgot. I think a 6 and a 7th were traded to both sides. I thought Eli Rick settled in as well. Yeah, I mean, they actually played him on outside corner a little bit in the second half, too, which was pretty good. So you have multiple corners that have starting experience, so that's the good thing about it. In case somebody goes down, you never know what can happen. So, you know. Hold on. He says, Barnett's like a bad tooth that's painful but still there. Dank says he was in coverage on Atwell and the incompletion pass. Yeah, that Atwell pass that would have been a touchdown. That one would have been a touchdown. But we rattled Matt Stafford that game. That's what happens when you rattle Matt Stafford. He overthrew a lot of receivers that were open. I mean, there was a lot of receivers that were open that game for the Rams, and yeah, I mean, no joke. I thought they did a pretty good job. Yeah, Ricks and Goodrich was terrible. I mean, for a first game, I can't put too much in Eli Ricks because it was his first game. Mario Goodrich has always had trouble at the nickel spot. I mean, he just can't play nickel at all. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Goodrich at the nickel spot. I mean, I feel like they got to play these guys a little bit closer at times. I don't think playing, you know, that first series on defense was god awful. I mean, it was god awful. They went down. They went down, took their time in 7-8 minutes, and you know, came back with a score. So, non-conformance says, thank God for Jeff Stout and Duke can turn a trash man to an all-pro tackle. Who's trash? Who's trash though? Who we talking about? I mean, I think with Cam Jurgens, man, like Sua Opeta played fantastic, played great. Towards the Evans was shaky at the first, but he settled in nicely. Yeah, like, I mean, that's his first game back. You know, he just got back, so. Nate says, pretty cool. Covey is actually a weapon as a punt return now. Like, I'm starting to feel confidence every time he's back there. Yeah, I totally agree, too. Like, I feel like every time now, like, we get a punt, I'm, like, actually excited because he's averaging, like, 15 to, like, 18.8 yards a carry, which is, like, second in the NFL. I think he's in the lead. I think second in punter. He got one. I mean, that punter from the Rams was getting, like, man, his punts were great. He was doing a fantastic job and getting the ball inside the 10. I was like, Jesus. Then Covey brought one from the inside the 10 to the 30-yard line, which is great. I mean, that's a good return from inside the 10, getting it from inside the 10 to get to the 30. We'll see. Matt said, I'm so glad to see Reddick going back into that wreck in Reddick. We know he can be, and to be was a big man, a big-time MVP the past couple games with those crucial sacks that and Jake Elliott with field goals. Yeah, Jake Elliott's been like the next Justin Tucker at this point. I mean, it's just been fantastic. Evans and Edmonds trash. I don't think Evans is that much trash. I think Terrell Edmonds is trash. 100%. Isaiah suggests Simmons upgrade from Evans. Oh, yeah, 100%. Definitely. Yeah, he's great. Reg says, yeah, it's like we scared to tell Barnett, get the fuck out. Or try to keep him happy, one or the other. I don't know. He says, Randy's still smoking the green. Or the purple drink, whatever. Where do you get in trouble? You got in trouble for the Cowboys for drinking? I don't know. I forgot what that was a while ago. Ron says, do you think the throw Nakobe in front of Morrow do you think we throw Nakobe in front of Morrow when he gets back? I saw that they put Quez in front of Oz. This past game got me wondering. I like Morrow a lot, but he got to work on those hands. Yeah, the interception that he dropped, getting that fumble, man, Jesus Christ, dude. That guy can't even touch a football worth his life. It's crazy, dude. I'll be fucking pissed if Nakobe Dean shows up, and it sucks, man, because I want Nakobe Dean to get, he's got to be on the roster, obviously. Nicholas Moore cannot go to practice squad. I'm sorry, but he can't. He cannot. You don't want to mess the mojo up with this linebacker core. We put no money into this position, and this is what we got to deal with. And we actually, finally, we have linebackers that are capable. 2 veterans in Nicholas Morrow and Zach Cunningham. I thought that played pretty damn well. Billy goes, I think it would be easier to go after Patrick Surtain as one on the trade block, Denver cleaning house. Yeah, but why, though? Like, why? I mean, what, just to get a younger corner in here? It's going to cost us. I don't think it's going to be an easy trade. You know what I mean? Isaiah says, Dillard has been even worse for the Titans. Yeah, he hasn't played well. The offensive line for the Titans hasn't played well. And I feel like if they don't give the ball to King Henry like over 20 times, they don't win games. And that's what sucks about that. That team needs a full rebuild again. Like, they need a quarterback. They need an offensive line. They need, Derrick Henry should just get traded somewhere where he could win a Super Bowl at this point. I'll trade for Derrick Henry. Shit. Trust me. Derrick Henry in this offense instead of Rashad Penny. I mean, I know Rashad Penny hasn't got a shot yet, but imagine if Derrick Henry was running behind this line. Oh, imagine running behind this line in the red zone with oh, Jesus. It'd be fucking crazy. Blue Pill says, Joey, give me my wife back, buddy. I don't have her, bro. I don't have anybody's wife. I don't want people keep saying that. They said that's because he didn't have Stout. No, he did have Stout. The Eagles, I think the Eagles messed up. The Eagles messed up Andre Dillard. The Eagles, just remember, they drafted him at what, 21, 22nd overall. Remember, that was a heavy defensive draft, and the Eagles went the total opposite and went offensive line. And they redshirted him his first year. Remember, they redshirted him his first year when JP was still here. And then they threw him at right tackle for like 3 games, blew his confidence out the water. Confidence was trashed. And he never got back from that. And then on top of that, he couldn't stay healthy for multiple seasons. So. Because says, what's the deal with Slay and Bradbury? Do you think it's strictly play calling? I think a lot of it has to do with play calling, yes. And I think a lot of it has to do with it's just football and they get beat. I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, people are like, I mean, there's no such thing as a shutdown corner anymore. Like, this is a team game. This defense plays as a team. There's not one guy we're looking at that's going to, that's going to win the game for us defensively. It's not, it's a team game. They're going to lose matchups. It happens. Isaiah says Slay is regressing. Yeah, we'll see what they do with Slay next year. Let me check Slay's contract for next year because he's got one more year left. I'm gonna check. Let's see here. Slay Slay's on contract for one more year. So this year for Slay, he's making $1.1 million this year. Okay. His guaranteed, all right, so his cap number this year is $11.8 million. His cap number actually goes down next year another $1 million. So his cap number is at 10. So his cap number this year is 11.8. His cap number on the last year of his deal next year is 10.9. So if they play him next year, I don't know. Obviously, if the Eagles don't save any money from this by cutting him, they don't make any. Yeah, so they literally can't trade him. They can't cut him post-June, pre-June, trade him post-June, pre-June. So they I guess most likely are going to, if they restructure Slay, they can't save any money at all either. So I mean, it's $120,000. It's not much. So they can't do anything with him, his contract. So they're not going to get capped. They're not going to really do much of anything with those numbers, I guess. I don't know. So I feel like, for me at least, they have to they gotta keep him next year. I guess. I don't know. Unless they draft somebody, early. So we'll see. Who are you gonna replace with Surtain? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Surtain's a starter though. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you trade for a starting corner, like, you're gonna put him as a you're gonna redshirt him the rest of the year. That's the only problem with the trade deadline. Like, if you have an open spot for somebody and you're weak at a position, you have no problem getting rid of a starting corner or somebody that's starting, then I'm perfectly fine with it. But when you don't have anyone to if you don't have anyone to literally replace him with, then that's a problem. I think it's a big problem. You're going to put him in the slot only? Who? Matt says people need to relax on Slay and Bradbury. They'll be fine. Yeah, I'm not even worried about it, really. Like, people are starting to freak out over it, and everyone thinks like they should not be playing like this, and they're gonna get beat. It's gonna happen. Like, it's going to happen. Maybe that's not the blame. Maybe the pass rush wasn't good on those plays because Matt Stafford stood in the pocket on both of those throws and had some easy ones. I think they played man. That one on Bradbury was total man. He just got beat. He got beat. It's what's gonna happen. So I'd rather have said a cornerback or safety before Nolan, but if we lose Reddick after contract, I hope he can develop. Yeah, I mean, so Hassan Reddick has one more year left on his deal. He's got another year. There's a lot. There's some guys I would like to extend. Obviously, I want to extend DeAndre Swift. I would love to extend DeAndre Swift, no doubt. I want to extend Swift. I would love to extend Hassan Reddick for like at least another year, at least one more year, if they can get it done. Slay is the reason we play 7 yards back. He's been doing great. That's since Jim Schwartz. Let's see, the scheme had them pay off to stop. The scheme has them play off to stop the big play. Yeah, that's the whole point of the scheme, is to not, But I guess I think they played man on those two plays. That's what I think. From what it looked like, I think that's what happened. Ringo is barbecuing coverage. Yeah, I mean, it's his rookie year, dude. So I can't put too much into Keely Ringo right now. Thanks to their whole they're told to play the short routes, then rally to the tackle. Legendary Donut says a Sidney Brown coming back this week. So I'm hoping, he is. Fletcher Cox should be back. Sidney Brown should be back. So we got some depth at safety. And we add one more to the defensive line, which is well needed this week. Thanks to they started playing up, play as man as well. They just get beat. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's football. Like, they're gonna get beat. Like, it's just people are making a big deal about it. Like, yeah, I was pissed off at it, but what am I supposed to do? Like, they're human. They're gonna get beat, and they're not unstoppable. You know, all the cornerbacks. Sauce Gardner, he's been beat a good amount of times this year. Doesn't make him bad. It's just gets beat. Just happens. Rose said, hopefully it's a good year for cornerbacks in the next year's draft. Not that I expect Howie to draft one in the first round. I mean, me neither. I mean, I think with Sidney Jones, they tried. I think when we had the 14th overall pick, Sidney Jones was supposed to be drafted. When we drafted Derek Barnett that year, I think Sidney Jones was supposed to, before he torn the Achilles, I think Sidney Jones was supposed to be the top pick. I think Dave Spadaro said, I think right after the draft that night, the first round that night, or after the second round, really, when we drafted him at 52. I think Spadaro said right after that, during that night, he said that the Eagles had, Sidney Brown was supposed to be the target if he was healthy, and they gave him a shot. Knock Vorman says it's not the player's option. Like if Ike Reese said it, he played he played in the league. It's the player's option. George says, what about the cornerback that people was high on them in preseason and got that pick in one game? You talking Eli Ricks? Blake says, yo, gotta be grateful. I've dealt with Nolan Carroll, Leotis McKelvin, and more. JB and Slay are fine. I'm telling you, dude, Byron Maxwell, I remember it. I remember it, man. I remember when we couldn't find a corner for years, man. Who's the what is it? Kerry Williams and friggin' who's the guy that got burnt a million times? Who's the guy who's the corner from that Cowboys game that got burnt 4 times from Dez? What the hell is his name? Got burnt. Like, that guy was horrible. That guy was horrible. What's his name? You guys know his name. Oh, Michael Jaquette. Jesus Christ. That guy was horrible. That guy, we literally hired that guy. That guy was hired from, I think he was working like at a fucking auto body shop or something. No, who's that dude that Dez burnt like 4 times, like 3 times for 3 touchdowns? What was his name? Fuck. No, not Orlando Scandrick. Like a long time ago. Nah, not Nate Allen was a safety. Jaquette, no. God damn it, what's his name? We used to call him a burnt piece of toast all the time. He got burnt by Dez. He got burnt by Dez like 3-4 times in that Cowboys game. What the hell is his name? God, man. No, it's not Nolan Carroll. George says I remember but forgot his name. Dude, I'm forgetting. I forgot his friggin' name. Bradley Fletcher? Was it Bradley? It was Bradley Fletcher. Was it? I think it was Bradley. Yeah, Maxwell was fucking horrible. I think it was Bradley Fletcher. I think it was. Yeah, he was horrible too. Oh, Jalen Mills wasn't horrible. I think it was Bradley. Yeah. Nate Gary, yeah, I guess you could count him in as a bad coverage guy. Bradley Fletcher, man, that guy was Jesus. It was horrible. He almost, I think Byron Maxwell almost gave up like I think over 200 yards, and I think the first game against Atlanta he almost gave up 200 yards. It was that close. So we've come a long way. We've come a long way from. We haven't had dominating receivers like this since T.O. Like, we haven't, since the T.O. era in Philadelphia, we haven't had dominating receivers like this. We haven't had a cornerback group like this for probably since the early 2000s with Lito. I think it's been that long, honestly. I think it's really been that long. That's how crazy it is. Jose says Jalen Mills. Yeah, I mean, Darby and Jalen Mills weren't horrible, but, Mills was a 6th, 7th round pick that played pretty good for where he was drafted. Yeah, Rasul Douglas, I feel like Rasul Douglas was, I mean, he was like top in the country for West Virginia with picks. Like, he was a pick machine coming out of college. Rasul Douglas, I thought Rasul Douglas, after being with 3 teams, he finally got a big contract with Green Bay and played really well. Rasul Douglas was bad he was good in the short field because he was a bigger body corner. He was good in red zone D, but when it came to open field, he was pretty bad. We would have had Jameson Williams, if not A.J. Brown. No, I don't believe that. We would have had Calvin Ridley if it wasn't for we would have had Calvin Ridley. Remember, Calvin Ridley was the Eagles if you did hear the news, the Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons were talking to each other that year for a trade. And this is when all the gambling stuff happened with Calvin Ridley, and they were supposed to get him. And the Falcons backed out of it because they didn't want to screw the Eagles. The Eagles would have got screwed over if they could have traded him, but they were finding out some news that Calvin Ridley was going to get in a lot of trouble, and they could have traded him and screwed the Eagles over, but they didn't do it. So I think Calvin Ridley was supposed to be a Philadelphia Eagle at first. I think it was only for like a third or fourth round pick. It wasn't much. Like it was one like mid-round pick. I think it was a fourth rounder. And it didn't happen. I'm glad it didn't happen. Even though Calvin Ridley, I think, is really turned up this year. I think he looks really good. I think he looks fantastic. But I wanted to have the bigger receiver in here, and I didn't think it was going to happen, but it happened. Yeah, Patrick Robinson was good too. Patrick Robinson was great. Patrick Robinson was actually a starting outside corner for us in camp, and then once they signed, you guys remember, I think it was when they signed Darby. I'm not sure. I remember they signed Darby, and then they moved Patrick Robinson into the inside, and then he just flourished after that. That pick six is legendary. It was. That turned the game around. Ron said, I love Smitty. He has a special place in my heart because we drafted him, but do you think he'll end up being more dominant than AJ? I think so. I think at the end of the day, Devonta Smith will have a long-term contract with the Eagles. Like he's eligible for a contract next year. So can they keep AJ Brown and Devonta Smith? It really depends on AJ Brown at the end of the day. I think the good thing to really take out of it is that A.J. Brown is best friends with Jalen Hurts, and, like, that will help. He keeps playing like this, he's going to get more money. I mean, he deserves more money. I mean, he's going to have another 1,000-yard season this year. I mean, it's going to happen. I'm already counting on it right now, that he's going to have a big year. Devonta Smith hasn't even reached his ceiling yet, I don't think. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I think Devonta Smith is great. But you have to keep your homegrown talent in the building. And that's Devonta Smith. You got to. Because with Devonta Smith, I mean, it's hard. It's tough to keep two guys. My opinion, I think you got to pay both of them. I think you really got to keep those two in the building. Because the Eagles, what they could do is they don't put money into running back. They don't put money into linebacker. They put money into the trenches, but think of it like this. Like, they have a few tight ends right now. With Albert O involved, too, they can have on a long term. Because who knows if Goedert's going to stay after his contract is expired. You know what I mean? So, I think realistically they have to sign AJ and Devonta Smith. I think they really should sign. I don't think you could... I don't think you can, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? Like, someone might have to take a pay. I don't know, because the quarterback cap hits are nothing. Signing Jalen Hurts to that big extension did nothing. It did nothing towards our cap. It didn't hurt us at all. You got to keep this together. I think you got to keep both of those guys. I think, as long as you're drafting well, you could sign guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, when we're not drafting well and you're just like restructuring, taking these players are taking more guaranteed money now and they're taking more bonus money now and the bigger cap hits are down the road. That's what we're doing since the 2017 Super Bowl. That's what they were doing. They weren't drafting well either, which the more you draft well, the less you have to spend in free agency, the less, you know what I mean? So the more you draft well, the more of those draft picks are becoming starters on the field. You can afford these contracts. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with down the road. We'll see what happens down the road. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, their contracts. It's you know what I mean? That's what happens. That's what happens when you start drafting well. Like then it's like, damn, these players are starting to play well right now, and they get paid, man. It's what happens. I think realistically, you got to keep Devonta Smith and AJ Brown together. I do. I really do. No, I don't think they would ever pay AJ before Smitty. I don't think that would ever happen. I don't think that would ever happen. No. I'd pay Smitty before AJ in a heartbeat. Smitty is just a lot of folks, even before he got drafted, okay, because of his size and he wouldn't last long in the league, and the guy plays big for his position, for his size. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's giving you 100% every single game. Not saying that AJ is not, but I'm saying that he's a homegrown talent. There's more loyalty in guys like that. Not saying that AJ doesn't have loyalty. This isn't a loyalty type league, okay? But a lot of players came back this year to the Eagles, loyalty-wise. James Bradbury came back. Fletcher Cox came back for less money. Both of those guys came back for less money. Chauncey cared about the money more than anything else. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what players want to get their bag, and I get it. Even though he didn't really get a bag at all, but, Matt says, I feel like Howie got something up his sleeve going to the trade. Yeah, we'll definitely go over all that. The time will happen. We have a few, look, really at the end of the day, the trade deadline ends in a few weeks. That's it, and we're going to find out. We're going to have streams. We're going to have streams literally for that week of the trade deadline, see what happens if the Eagles, end up going after somebody. We'll see what happens. See if there's any rumors around. Do the Eagles upgrade at wide receiver 3? I mean, that's definitely something that they maybe could be thinking about. I like Zacchaeus a lot. Quez made one bad mistake in the game on the bubble screen, but he was open on 2 plays, and Hurts didn't target him for that touchdown. When he was wide open, they force-fed it to Devonta Smith, and he was open on a 3rd down where we had to punt the ball. Getting that pass that was overthrown to Quez could have got us points on the board. Could have got us a touchdown or just a field goal. That was missed opportunity and points right there. Yeah, Brandon Graham came back. Kelsey, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. There's a lot of loyalty. Sometimes loyalty is a bad thing in the NFL because it could lead to bad, really bad, decisions. Fletch was almost a Jet. Yeah, screw that, dude. Fuck that. He does not. That's not the type of green he should be in. Thanks. It's going to hit different when Kelsey, Graham, and Fletch retire. Yeah, Fletch and Graham are going to be, and Fletch, Graham, and Kelsey, those 3 are going to be interesting to go into next year, I think the window is still open for a Super Bowl even after this year. I think it's way open. I think they definitely have to re-sign Morrow or Zach Cunningham this year, one of those 2. I think one of 2 of those guys have to be signed if they can't keep both. I think one of them has to be signed. So there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of things going on for next year. A lot of moves, a lot of moving pieces. And, it seems like Jalen Hurts has a lot of decision-making when it comes to this roster offensively, too. He's the main reason why A.J. Brown is here. The main reason why A.J. Brown's in the building. Without Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown would not be a Philadelphia Eagle. That's just the way it is. So, I like this part of the season straight up. Non-conformist says, who paid BG $10 million for this year? This got to be his last year. No way he could pay that for him. No, I mean, that's the good thing, though. The good thing about it is if BG doesn't have a great... It looks like BG's not going to have a double-digit sack season. It's just not going to happen. Hasn't got a sack yet this year, I don't think. So, at the end of the day, it's better because he might be a lot cheaper going into next year. I don't think BG will ever be in another uniform. I think he's either going to play for the Eagles or he's going to retire. I don't think he would ever, and I swear to God, I really believe that he would never put on another uniform. I don't think he would do it. Isaiah says BG got like 6 from us. Took a pick. I know he took somewhat of a hometown discount, no doubt. So thanks, says 28. Black Wolf 19 says Eagles are going to own the NFC for years to come. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, BG's been fine. Well, BG's got some pressures this year. Like, he's made the quarterback move inside the pocket. Like, they actually had BG on playing on the inside for an inside pass rush, which I really like that the side did that too, which is good. George says, not sure Quez will get a chance to another team. Not sure, especially because he has done anything this year. He needs to do something. Yeah, I don't think Quez is a starter anywhere else. This is last year of Quez's contract. I don't think Quez is a starter anywhere else. Look at the running backs, dude. Like, look at running backs that Miles Sanders has done nothing with Carolina. He hasn't even been healthy this year for Carolina. Wendell Smallwood hasn't done nothing for another team. He's not even a starter. Like, this offensive line benefits these running backs entirely, where you can tell where the talent is. Who's the other running back that we had that was pretty successful? Was a bruiser back, but he was a slower. Josh Adams was another one. Josh Adams was another guy that I really liked, and I thought he was just too patient at times, and he could have been more explosive. But he was another guy that went to the Jets and barely got playing time. Every running back that's left this building that has been successful here has not really done much anywhere else. Miles Sanders hasn't really. What does Miles Sanders have for the year? I know he's been hurt too. What has Miles Sanders done for the Panthers? Yeah, Miles Sanders only has 190 yards and a touchdown. Miles Sanders has 61 carries in 5 games. Okay? 61 carries in 5 games, 190 yards, 1 touchdown. He's only averaging 3.1 a carry. That's it. 3.1 a carry. It's insane, dude. Hold on. I'm gonna show. Let me show you guys this. If you guys don't mind the chat being down for a second, just to show you this. Hold on. God damn it! I always forget how. I'm not forgetting how to do this. I'm just being a fucking idiot. I mean, it's insane what this offensive line has done. It's insane, dude. Look at this. I mean, really look at this. You're gonna laugh. I mean, it's honestly pretty funny. Miles Sanders, yeah, look at this. That's just insane, dude. I mean, he's only averaging 3.1 a carry. I mean, he was averaging what with the Eagles? He was averaging what, almost 5? I mean, it's nuts, dude. Yeah, look. 61 carries, 190 yards. Yeah, it's insane. That's honestly insane, dude. Let's see. DeAndre, he only had 32 yards. He had 32 yards, 7 attempts. Let's check out DeAndre Swift. Swift has 434 yards on 76 carries, 2 touchdowns, averaging 5.7. 5.7 for the year. 5.7. And he had 70 yards last game on 17 attempts. I think he's still second in rushing right now. I think the Eagles are going to run the crap out of him next week against the Jets. Kenneth Gainwell. He's got 128 yards, 39 carries. He's averaging 3.3. So, we know that Gainwell is only used for third downs and for red zone. He hasn't done anything in red zone except that 2-point conversion he had a week ago, whatever it was, against Washington. Okay. So, his numbers are up and down, it is what it is. So, I mean, that's the way it is, bro. The amount of running backs that have benefited here. George says Swift could really lead the league in rushing if the Eagles want. Oh yeah, of course they could. They could run the crap. They could run him over. They could run him over 60 times. I mean, they could run in the crap out of him over 60 times. I'm not even kidding. They can run the crap over him. No doubt. They could run the crap out of him. I totally believe that. You know what I mean? So that's something to definitely, that's definitely something to look over, All right, let me fix this shit so we're good. Okay. Sorry, I had to show that. I need to do another screen for the show stuff like that, if that's what we show. So, all right. But yeah, I mean, that's why the Eagles don't put money into that position. But I feel like with Swift, they got to re-sign him somehow and keep him. Sanders, I think, just danced with. He hesitated. He tried to always get the big play all the time. How there's there's certain holes to go through, and he just didn't want to. He likes to run around people more than running through through the tackle sometimes. I don't know. There were times where he just hesitates too much. I think that was a problem. Matt said, I got to say it. Thank you, Lions, for gifting us Swift, and thank you to the rest of the league for passing on Carter. Yeah. 2 big moves. When I told the news to Philly that we traded for DeAndre Swift, I mean, I knew he was going to flip out over it. And it was the best thing that ever happened. So Swift got a hometown discount, plus he knows the O-line is historic. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to? This is if he leaves here to go somewhere else, he knows for a fact he ain't going to a good team. He knows for a fact he ain't going to a team that he's going for a running back needy team with a bad offensive line. If he goes to the Titans or just something stupid. I'm not saying he would go to the Titans, but I'm just saying in general, he ain't gonna. Nah, it's not gonna happen, bro. But. So other than that, that's it. I know we've been on the stream for a little while now, but I appreciate everybody joining the chat tonight. I totally forgot that we were actually streaming today. I'll try to stream earlier at 9 o'clock. I know these 10:30 streams been doing Monday and Friday. Next time we stream, it will be Friday. So look out for 2 videos tomorrow, 2 videos the next day. So we're going to try to do 2 videos a day. Talk about obviously this week. And I've been kind of talking about some things during these games and stuff like that. So, other than that, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your work week. Do your thing. You know what I mean? Do your thing. And we'll have the New York Jets on Sunday. But, we'll start talking about the Jets when it comes to Wednesday, Thursday-ish. We'll talk about the Jets a little bit. And obviously, I don't think this team is taking the Jets lightly at all, whatsoever. Steve Family Super Chat, thank you so much, man. It says, Penny averaged 6 yards per carry and still in the stables. Yeah. I'm trying to get a guest. on the channel this week. I don't know if it's going to happen yet, but I'm trying to, instead of doing my stream on Friday, or maybe we will do the stream on Friday, but I want to try to get a guest midweek. I'm trying to get it done. I don't know if it's going to happen. So I know some things are up in the air right now. So, and I honestly want to do an open stream as well with you guys and kind of, maybe follow my Discord. I think Discord would be the easiest way to talk with people. So that'd be pretty sweet, pretty cool. And, yeah, we'll do our thing. And that's it. So you guys have a fantastic night, and I will see you on the next one. 5-0. Let's get to 6-0. Let's get prepared this week. We'll see what happens injury-wise, guys getting healthy, stuff like that. And, we will be good to go. All right. You guys have a great day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't. Like the stream. Definitely check out the memberships as well for support, all that great stuff. And, I'll see you guys on the next one. Enjoy your day. Peace out, guys. Peace out. Peace.